How many times have we seen that? Really good League One Championship players that have gone on to Premier League clubs and they've sat on their bench for sometimes 2 or 3 years, hoping to get the opportunity and never getting it. So welcome back to Smallheath Alliance FC. And we're at that time of the season where it's a little bit crazy, really. The season is just about to start. In a couple of weeks, we'll be kicking off our first game of the EFL League One season against Reading. And the transfer window is open up until the end of August. So there's a few weeks to go yet. So there's still players that are likely to be under scrutiny, whether they'll stay, whether they'll go. In this video, we want to talk about a few of those, actually, because Birmingham City have been speculated that a few players might leave the club maybe to pursue their own interests, or they might get interest from other clubs. And we're going to ask the question today, why would players leave Birmingham City at the moment with what we're doing? And Matt, I mean, you've heard the speculation about players like Myoshi, about Paik, and about Jordan James. Do you think they're crazy to leave Birmingham City at the moment?
It's a good question. I think they're the big three who have been in the media quite a lot recently, especially JJ. JJ's had rumours around him since about January last season, didn't he? Atalanta came in for him. There's been rumours around sort of the 10 million mark, and I think Ipswich I read last week have came in for JJ. I don't know how true these are. It is all rumours on social media. But I think you'd be crazy to leave the club at the moment. I've got a few things here on my computer where I've listed reasons why they might not want to leave. But the first and the big one for me is Chris Davis. The players seem like they've got a big smile on their face. He's implementing his style of football. If you take that first 60 minutes against Rangers and some of the stuff we've seen sprinkled into a few of these pre-season games, we are looking really good, really sexy football, sleek, high pressing, fast, dynamic. So the style of football he's playing is truly impressive. And for someone like JJ, who's been here for a few seasons now, he was here throughout the entire storm last season. I guess Myoshi was as well, but he was even here before that with the Eustace setup as well. And we've been so used to out of possession, back-footed football. We're now doing the complete opposite: front-footed, dynamic, fast-pressing, fast attack style of football. So Chris Davis is putting his mark on the team, and it's such an exciting club to be a part of at the moment.
I think with obviously we could talk about all three players separately, but the reasons that I would leave. I mean, the big problem obviously is that we are, whichever way you look at it, we're in League One.
Of course,
it's not the most attractive league in the world for players that want to really progress their career and think that they're better than League One. So that's the first thing. Do these players want to stay in League One? That is a big thing. We can't ignore that.
But just to counteract that though, Dad, we're beating Championship clubs to transfers. So, these players could go to the Championship, and fair enough, I totally get it. We're a League One club. We have to accept that. The Championship is a higher standard. But we're beating the higher standard level of teams to some transfer. So again, when you're a player and you're making your decision, and a Championship club comes in for you, but you're at a club that are beating those players in the transfer market, what does that say about the club that you're currently at?
Let's say JJ. JJ will be speculated maybe going to Ipswich, right? They're in the Premier League. And to JJ, he's thinking, well, do I want to go to Burton Albion or do I want to go to the Etihad? Mm-hmm. It's in his mind, he must be thinking that. So,
Burton Albion every week.
Well, me too. Yeah, me too.
Well, we'll be at Burton, that's for sure.
Well, exactly, it will be there, JJ. Please come with us. But what I'm thinking of is that when his head was turned in January, he did, because I think after that Atlanta interest, his form wasn't great for us.
And they went on to win. They went to win a European title, didn't they?
They did, but I think that with JJ, he's if we take him to start with, he's a player that's been at the club now since he was a young lad. He's been through all the various academy, and he's grown up now to the player that he actually is. He might be thinking, well, I've been here a long time now. I want a new challenge. I want to play with different players. And he's seen what's happened last season. But now he might look at it and think, well, okay, I want a new challenge, but we've got a new manager. We've got loads. I want to play with different players. I've got loads of different players. We're playing a different system, and we're playing a different style of football. So actually, he's going to get all them things if he stays. Mm-hmm. But so with him, it's going to be a decision about whether or not he feels that he wants to move on now. And
also,
try a different club in a different situation.
You mentioned about Burton or the Etihad. He might just be sitting in the stands at the Etihad.
Yes, that's another point I've made.
There's no guarantee he's going to get first team football at Ipswich. Where at Birmingham City, he would be I think he would be a first team starter.
I think Chris Davies in the pre-season has picked him virtually every game.
Exactly, and he's looked good. He looks settled in the centre mid position. Yeah. He looks settled with what the instructions from Chris Davies are. And I think that's a valid point. He might go to Ipswich. He might get Championship interest or Premier League interest, but who knows how much game time he's going to get.
How many times have we seen that? Really good League One Championship players that have gone on to Premier League clubs and they've sat on their bench for sometimes 2 or 3 years, hoping to get the opportunity and never getting it. Whereas here, Jordan James can think, well, actually, it seems to me like the manager likes me. You know, he keeps picking me. I can see the way the club are progressing. So it comes back to the question: why on earth would he want to move? We literally will come down to a decision for him. Does he want to play in League One, or he's actually thinking to himself, well, actually, I've been at Birmingham City all my career. I know I'm still young. I want to move on now.
Yeah,
that's what the choice will be for him.
Yeah. So let's move on to Paik and Myoshi then. Just quick rounds on both players. And Dad, what are your thoughts on Paik and Myoshi? Will they stay, do you think? And again, what do you think would be any factors in them leaving?
Similar to what we've just spoken about for JJ, I think. Although the difference between those two is that they're newer to the club, obviously, than JJ. They haven't been through the academy, etc. But I think with Paik, I believe that the club have offered him an extended contract as well, so they're trying to keep him.
And I said this in another video, Dad, and if Paik was to sign a new contract, I think that's as good as getting a signing in again. I think that would be such big news to get Paik to sign a new contract.
I'm being honest here, and this is what this podcast is all about. It does gripe me a little bit that we're almost going cap in hand to players that were in the part of a relegated team. I know Paik came in January, so he's not completely culpable for it. But really, I'd be wanting players to knock on the manager's door, say, look, I know that we've had a bad season. I really want to stay. Let me stay. Rather than us going cap in hand to them, to players that have been contributed. Whichever way you look at it, he was still part of the team that got relegated, as was Myoshi as well. And that's the one thing that gripes me. But my other side of me thinks, well, they're really good players, so just do what you can to keep them. So I'm really torn.
Double-edged sword. It is the perfect definition of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
I don't think that, from what I've read, I don't think that playing in League One would have a major impact on their international getting called up to their international teams. So I hope we keep both of them, but they are, as the transfer window draws to its conclusion, you often get interest from clubs late in the day, and those two players that potentially clubs could look at that, might think, they seem like decent players. They might not want to play. Let's have a go, try and get them.
Yeah, so when you look at social media, and Blues fans, we all get caught up in what goes on social, the rumours and speculation. I think Paik has had more rumourings around him. I haven't heard much around Myoshi or anyone sort of particularly interested, really, which has surprised me because he can hold his own in the Championship. I think he's a good player. There's a year left on his contract. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm almost making him look appealing to a Championship club. They could possibly grab a bargain there. But I think Myoshi is a good player. I think he will stay. But I think Paik has had more rumours around him. I think Paik is possibly more equipped for the higher level. And I know Blackburn and I believe Stoke have been the bigger rumours for Paik. But I haven't been hearing, sorry, but I'm hoping that Paik, as I said, will sign a new contract, and Myoshi's got a year left. I think they'll both stay. For me, it's JJ who is the biggest threat of leaving, and that would be because he wants to play at a higher level. But just coming back to why they wouldn't leave or the reasons why I think we have a bit of pulling power here is also look at what the owners have done. Look at the investments that they've made.
I've labelled that in my notes under club ambition.
Exactly, club ambition. And, if the fans feel it, the players feel it. They've give all the youth players new contracts. They've improved the stadium. They've done all these amazing things, and the players must feel that too. So for me, when they look around and they see, I'm not going to name any Championship clubs out of respect, but they could see certain Championship clubs and think, well, why would I want to go there when these are investing all this money and there's a future here and we're building forward. We're building a Championship-ready club in League One. So for me, there's a lot of positives to staying at this club, but a big one is Chris Davis and a big one is the ownership and the club ambition, which you've rightly highlighted.
And you got to remember as well, the beginning of last season, when we started last season in the Championship, this is when obviously we had JJ and Myoshi. Paik came in January, but for the first two, they were playing in front of a stadium that was all the bottom tiers of the Tilton and the Cop were closed.
Yeah.
So and the attendances were, I think we averaged around about 2021, whatever it was. Then it opened up in January. This season, we've already sold nearly 18,000 season tickets. That every game at home is virtually going to be sold out. So that's another appealing thing, is I'm going to be playing in front of full stadiums, and that's going to be very appealing as well, because that's what you want, isn't it? You want the atmosphere at St.Andrews when it's full, and they've all experienced it.
Rocking
is absolutely amazing. So you think, well, I'll have a little, and you could say, I could go to another club that has got a really good fan base and blah blah blah, but it's better than ever. They know all about Birmingham City. These players, if they stayed as well, be well revered by the Blues fans and well respected. Because to me, I think a lot of a player who decides to stick at it, when we've had a bit of a down after through relegation. But players who can actually sort of trying to rebuild the club, rebuild their own careers, staying with the club, that is going to get the backing of the fans as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, got a quick question for you, Dad. Christian Bielek has obviously signed a new contract. He was one of our players which were rumoured to be sold. Do you think that's a bit of a statement as well? The fact that Christian Bielek,
Yeah, definitely.
players are signing new contracts and hanging around. It's showing their intent. It's showing that they believe in this project. Polarising thing to say again, but do you think that will have an impact on players' decisions moving forward?
I think sometimes you need that to happen. You need a player like that, Christian Bielek, to take the bull by the horn and say, I'm going to make this decision. And it's only when that happens that other players look at that and think, well, Christian's done it. So have a chat with him. Why have you done it? And that then starts the ball rolling. I'm really hopeful that the three players that we've mentioned, Myoshi, Paik, and JJ, they look and think, well, do you know what? I can't move from here. I'd be mental. I mean, you could go to another club, like you said, and if you go, JJ could go to Ipswich if that goes through, and he could end up sitting on the bench. And how's that going to benefit his career? Is this going to send him back? Okay, he might be thinking, I don't care, I'm going to be earning a fortune, because some players don't mind that. But to me, I think that today, the way things are going with this club, the way that the owners are setting us up for the future. If I was a player, I'd want to be around here.
Yeah. Also, as well, this might sound arrogant. I certainly don't mean it to, but the players we're talking about, JJ, Myoshi, and Paik, their positions aren't even safe. So the fact that we're spending 4 million, we've brought in Mark Leonard, Williamson, Clara, Peacock Farrell, Hansen. We've signed all these amazing players, and for good and big fees, two of them especially. You'd be thinking, I want to stay and fight for my place. I want to earn my place in this team. I want to show Chris Davies what I'm about. And I think Chris Davies behind the scenes is building that culture. He's building a squad. He's building competition for places. He's not going to allow complacency. He wants 100% in all of his training sessions. So to me, if I'm a player and I'm seeing 4 million, all these amazing players come in, I'd want to fight for my place. It shows intent. It shows that this club is going places. It shows that we're getting a team above our level, capable of competing when we do get promoted. And for me, that alone as well is there worth hanging around for, because we're not messing around. These owners are showing their intent. And for me, I'd want to stay around and prove that I'm good enough to play for Birmingham City.
Yeah, me too. And I think that, like I said before, I think they'd be foolish to actually leave. And also as well, I also feel as well that if we hadn't got these owners now, and we got relegated, then the vultures would have been circling, and we would have lost a lot of these players. More players than we've already kept. So, Christian Bielek would have definitely gone. I think we'd have lost all. JJ would have gone. Paik, Myoshi, they would have almost definitely have gone. But now with these new owners, they've set this positive momentum that I believe that it's, for them, I think if they do decide that they're going to move on, I do think they'll regret it. Seriously, I think they'll regret it.
On that note, then, simple yes or no: Paik, JJ, and Myoshi, will they stay or will they go?
I'm based upon everything we've said, I've got to say that they'll all stay.
They'll all stay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, in my opinion, I suppose that's my hope that they'll all stay. I have to clarify that because I don't know. I don't know what's in their minds. I can't. I haven't got a crystal ball. But I would hope that they would all stay for all the reasons that we've just discussed in this podcast. Because they're here now with a team that is moving in the right direction. Got a great fan base. Everything's looking really progressive, and the uncertainty of where they could potentially go, it far outweighs that they know what they're getting with Birmingham City. So to me, they've got to stay.
It's funny because when we got relegated and when we were getting prepared for the pre-season, I thought all three of these were vulnerable and high risk for being sold. And I thought Paik especially might have gone back to the Championship and JJ Championship or Premiership. But now I've seen Chris Davies, I've seen the energy around the club. I think I agree. I think all three of them will stay. The only one who's at a bit of a risk for me, because he might get tempted by the Premier League or high-level Championship, is JJ. But I think Paik and Myoshi, for me, my opinion, 100% will stay. And JJ, I'm hoping will stay because I do like JJ. He is a good player. I really do hope he stays. And as I say, if we can keep all three of them, we're going to be a serious force in League One, aren't we?
So what do you think, Birmingham City supporters? As you can see, myself and Matt, I think it would be really foolish for players at the moment, the way the Birmingham City are building and the way in the direction the club is going to move on. But of course, we're not in the minds of these players. We don't know what they've been offered or what their motivations are. But we would hope that they would want to stay around and be part of our journey as we move forward. And hopefully, that is going to be a really, really good journey. But I'd love to know your opinion, see what you think. And as always, please let us know in the comments below about whether you think that these players, or maybe any other players in the squad that we haven't spoken about, might be vulnerable to leaving before the end of the transfer window. As always, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out already on our social media channels, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page, and you'll see those handles appearing on the screen right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Matt will see you on the next video.